Good evening and welcome to East Hampton Public Schools School Committee meeting. My name is Nancy Sykes and I am chair of the school committee. This meeting this evening is being recorded by East Hampton Public Access Cable. And the school committee would like to recognize and thank the many volunteers that do participate in this public access cable. And tonight, our technician is Kathy, so we thank her. If you are personally interested in becoming a volunteer with public access, you may contact Kathy at 413-203-1360. Superintendent Folensby, have some announcements?
I do. Quite a few, as a matter of fact.
All right.
The public hearing on the FY 2014 school budget will be March 26, 2013. The next school committee meetings are March 26th and April 9th, 2013. White Brick Middle School 8th grade science fair is Thursday, March 14th. White Brick Middle School Fine Arts Night is Wednesday, March 27th. There's a half day of school on Friday, March 29th due to Teacher Professional Development Day. There is no school April 15th through and including Monday, April 22nd due to spring break, teacher professional development, and the East Hampton High School move-in day. Big day for all of us. White Brick Middle School Transition Night is Wednesday, April 24th. High School Junior Senior Prom is Friday, May 3rd at Chez Joseph. White Brick Middle School Spring Concert is Thursday, May 23rd. There is a half day of school on Friday, May 24th due to Teacher Professional Development Day. There is no school Monday, May 27th due to Memorial Day. White Brick Middle School Washington, D.C. trip is Wednesday through Friday, May 29th through the 31st. Senior Banquet and Harbor Cruise is Friday, May 31st. Senior Outing is Monday, June 3rd at High Meadows in Granby, Connecticut. White Brick Middle School Enrichment Night is Monday, June 3rd. Senior Class Night is Wednesday, June 5th. 2013 graduation is Friday, June 7th at 7 p.m. White Brick Middle School Awards Night is Wednesday, June 12th. White Brick Middle School 8th grade continuation is scheduled for the last day of school. And the last day of school is currently scheduled for Tuesday, June 25th, which is a half day for students. Oh, one more. Sorry, there's a little space here. Kindergarten screening is scheduled for Thursday and Friday, May 2nd and 3rd, 2013.
Right, and I have one announcement also. As a matter of record, executive session minutes from July 2011 to March 2013 have been reviewed by the school committee chair and deemed to be released under the open meeting law. Do I hear a motion that we accept with gratitude the gifts that are before us or have been given to us?
Certainly. I would move that we accept with gratitude and appreciation the following $500 from East Hampton Savings Bank for the White Brook Middle School 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. $500 from the Helping Hand Society for the same 8th grade field trip to Washington, D.C. $1,500 from Florence Savings Bank for the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. and $250 from Brian Delaney for his video contest award to the EHS Multimedia Department.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Now, at this time, for those of you that are here with us tonight and not just home in your cozy, dry living rooms, we do offer time for public speak, but this is time for public speak for issues that are not on the agenda. If you are present tonight and wish to speak to an issue that is on the agenda, then we will get to that when we get to the issues. But if you are here for anything else, now is your opportunity to come to the podium and speak. All right. At this time, I'd like to hear from our subcommittee reports. Do we have a finance subcommittee report?
We have apologize. I had one correspondence that came in that I just wanted to share with the committee. Can we back up to do that now, or do you want to do it later?
Well, I didn't have any, so
Okay. The Emily Williston Memorial Library and Museum wrote me in a letter dated March 1st, 2013, an invitation as a member of the school committee to serve on their strategic planning process. And I thought before I responded that I should share it with everyone on the committee. I suspect, Nancy, that it was sent to me in my role as chair, and since I'm no longer chair, I think that probably was, you were the intended recipient. It says that there will be a couple of meetings that you'll be involved in, or that one of our representatives would be involved in, and that they would like to know by the 15th of March. Again, I'm trying to find the key passage here. It says we're asking for your engaged participation in 2 or 3 committee meetings and feedback, and to provide feedback as the plan progresses. While the library strategic planning committee is advisory, the collective input provides the foundation for the final plan. So.
And then there is a person to contact, I take it.
Yep, the letter comes from the director, Ms. Christy Chadwick.
Okay, great. Then maybe we can all take a look at that after.
Okay.
Thanks, Peter. Finance Subcommittee.
Minutes will be coming for a finance subcommittee meeting we did have last week, and we just spoke about the budget. It was basically all about the budget, so.
The minutes
those
will be later.
coming.
Okay, thanks, thank you. Policy Review Subcommittee.
Yes, we do just have to approve the second reading of 2 policies. The first one is the student records JRA, and this was recommended by the superintendent. This one has to do with how long our student records are retained. So we would need a motion to approve that.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve policy JRA for student records.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the second policy is a new policy for news media relations and news releases. This is, as the superintendent explained at our last meeting, a protocol for our employees to follow. So this one would also need a motion to approve the second reading.
Motion to approve policy KDD, the news media relations news releases policy.
Second?
All those in favor of the second reading?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, I had a question about one piece of it.
Oh, yes, what is it, Peter?
Number 2 says that, number 1 says the school committee chairman will be the official spokesman for the committee, except as this duty is delegated to the superintendent. That, just to clarify, or maybe to anticipate a question, it doesn't mean that other members of the school committee can't respond. It's just that they're not responding on behalf of the school committee as a whole, correct?
That's correct. Correct,
Great.
yes.
Thank you.
And I believe you have the minutes too, of our,
We did go over that at our last meeting, but
Oh.
I did want to mention that our next meeting is March 18th.
March 18th. Okay, thank you, LaDonna. Is there a CES update?
No update, we have a meeting tomorrow night.
Okay, all right, next. And, Ms. Samantha, do you have some news from the school?
Yes, so the student council is beginning to plan the community dinner, which is an event we put on every year to thank all the community members who've donated their time and efforts and funds to help everything that goes on at the high school and help make it possible. So we're getting that underway. Student council was able to go into the new school this past week.
All
and
right.
It was
How was it?
Very exciting. We are so excited to be able to start showing the community and staff and students.
I haven't been in yet.
It's awesome.
All right.
So awesome. And,
is.
I could give you a tour for a price.
All right, I'll pay.
and
Samantha, what was your favorite part so far of the school?
Parts.
What did
We
you like
have
the most so
a
far?
dance studio, which is really awesome.
Wow.
And there's our 2 water bubblers, and then there's actually a separate thing to fill up your water bottles, and it has a counter of how many water bottles you're actually saving by using a refillable water bottle. And there's a 3D printer that's going to be in the school. It's so awesome, and our auditorium is just amazing. We have our
Okay.
own auditorium, so and last thing this week, at the high school, it's Prevention Week. So SAD, which is Students Against Destructive Decisions, they've been working and planning for this for quite some time now, I believe, and they're just going through, and they've got assemblies planned for us. This morning they had a seatbelt check, and if you were wearing your seatbelt, then you were a Smartie and you got Smarties, but if not, then you got a Dum Dum lollipop reminding you to be safe, wear your seatbelt. So great efforts there.
See potential for this. The dum-dums.
And that's it.
All right, thank you so much, Samantha. Any other questions for Samantha? Well, the next thing on our agenda says vacant school committee seat update. I think many of you have, if you've been reading your Gazette, or possibly you know, that one of our school committee members, Bonnie Katusik, resigned recently. And since this is the first school committee meeting since her formal resignation, I would like to read into the record the letter that Bonnie sent to the school committee telling us her reasons about her resignation. Dear Nancy, I believe that's both Nancys. Yes.
It's easy that way, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is with heavy heart that I am submitting to you my letter of resignation from the school committee, effective immediately, and this was dated February 21st. Issues arising in the last 12 months in my family have made it increasingly clear that I am needed at home. I had hoped to finish my term, however, recent events are screaming to me that now is the time I most need to be with my family. I do not feel I can both be an effective committee member and be an effective parent at this moment, and clearly my family must come first. I love East Hampton Public Schools. I am proud to be a parent of children attending our schools. I am proud to know our administrators and have been nothing shy but impressed by the endurance, diligence, and hard work. I have loved learning from our district staff and administrators. I have loved sharing my experience and knowledge in ways I feel help my peers on the committee, as well as in ways I feel help the strength of our district. I am also proud of our district school committee and am proud to have had the opportunity to work with such hardworking and congenial members during these 2 terms. My hope is to run again once I feel I am able to dedicate the time I feel is necessary to be a truly effective member, the time deserved of our district. While I will no longer be working with all of you in committees or as a whole, as a parent of a high school, middle school, and grade school student, I will continue to promote our district, applaud our administrators, support our staff, and I will be grateful for the work you all continue to do. Very truly yours, Bonnie Katusik. And certainly, as chair of the school committee, I believe I can speak for all of us that, Bonnie, we thank you for your time and your energy and your spirit that you gave to this committee, and you will be missed. But I also now want to update you on what we do now as far as fulfilling Bonnie's seat on the school committee. The terms run out on December 31st of this year. So that means that the person who would be appointed to fill her position will serve as soon as he or she is appointed, and that will run, that term will run until the end of December. The charter of East Hampton allows for the following to happen as appointing a position that becomes vacant on the school committee. A committee which is called a joint convention of the city council and school board members is held. And at that meeting, the candidates who have chosen to come forward with their interest in being on the school committee will present their statement of interest and will be questioned by the joint committee of the city council and the school committee. And after that meeting, a vote will be taken of the joint committee, and the person that receives, obviously, the two-thirds of the majority of the votes will be sworn in as the next member of the school committee. So it will be, this meeting is an open meeting, and it will be held on March 27th here, second floor, at 6 o'clock in the evening. And as I understand it now, there are 3 to 4, 4 to 5. I'm not sure. We're not sure about one of the candidates, but I think we know that there are at least 3 candidates who have come forward to be considered for the position. So obviously the community is invited to that March 27th meeting. Any questions? Are there any other issues to come up for discussion? If not, then we will go to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Nancy. So I've asked Principals Orlando and Tim Luce and Robert Orlando, to come here this evening to give an update on their reorganization proposal, the proposal that they shared with the school committee at our last meeting. And so, Rob and Tim, I'm going to ask you to come to the podium.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, as you know, we've held a couple forums after our announcement proposal at the last school committee meeting. And what I'd like to do is just share some excerpts of a letter that I wrote to our families after those forums, and then talk about where Mr. Luce and I want to go next with this proposal. Okay. So, first of all, we'd like to thank all of our families who participated in the forums that we had to discuss the proposed school reorganization. Both Mr. Luce and I were extremely heartened to hear about all the wonderful experiences our kids are having at their respective schools, and that came through loud and clear, that our parents are very happy with the quality of education they're receiving in our schools. It was also very evident that everyone felt passionately about the quality of education that his or her children receive at each of our schools. Mr. Luce and I also feel equally committed to each student in our schools as well. After the faculty and parent forums that we held 2 weeks ago, Mr. Luce and I reflected upon what was stated, raised his questions, concerns, and positives about the proposed reconfiguration. We had some folks that were steadfastly not in favor of the proposal, and we had some parents that thought that it would be a good idea. Two overarching themes, however, seemed to be that the timeline for implementing a change and the amount of information provided about the reasons for this proposal were deficient in the eyes of many of our families and some of our faculty members. So in the spirit of working collaboratively and being respectful of what was shared at each of these forums, both with our faculty and with our parents, Mr. Luce and I tonight are asking that you keep our request for consideration for the spring of 2014. By doing this, we hope to have the time needed to provide answers to all of the questions that were raised and consider some of the insightful suggestions that both our faculty and families have made regarding this proposal. Additionally, we will further involve our families to help facilitate a discussion regarding this proposal. Again, after this work is completed, we hope to share this information in a public way with both you, the school committee, and with our educational community, again, for your consideration for the spring of 2014. In summary, Mr. Luce and I both believe that this proposal has merit. However, we also feel that we have developed a collaborative relationship with all of our families and want to move forward with that same spirit. We look forward to the work together with our families and with you as a school committee to make this important decision.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions about?
Any questions?
I think what you have to say makes a lot of sense. I totally support your suggestion.
And I thank you for your thoughtfulness.
Peter.
Oh, I'm sorry, Peter.
Have any of the comments or the feedback that you've received so far focused on the educational benefits for the students of the proposed change in a way that you're going back and doing further research? Are there a couple of areas that you could just highlight that
Sure.
you think have merit for further research and information?
So LaDonna was happened to be at the forum along with, I think Deb was there, correct? And
Peter.
Peter was there too, yeah.
Right.
So LaDonna took copious notes for us, which was great because, again, as I mentioned, there were some really great suggestions for further information. Some folks wanted some more steadfast data around the educational benefit of having this configuration. So would we see, for example, an increase in academic achievement if we went to this model? So some research would need to occur there in order for us to bring back to our families and to you as a school committee. Certainly, the idea of splitting up kids, getting rid of the K through 4 structure, and the idea of losing some mentoring from the older kids to the younger kids was brought up. And certainly in the configuration that we proposed, that wouldn't be as easy to do because we wouldn't be in the same building. Certainly, we would look for opportunities to do that because we feel that that's very important. So that'd be something that we'd have to look into as well. Looking at other, although we have done some of this work, looking at other school systems that have a model or similar model in place already to see and to provide that piece of information back to our families was something that was brought up as well. So a lot of what was discussed, Peter, is just going a little deeper with some of the research that we had done back in 2009 and sharing that in a more overt way with our families, and then also looking at some things we hadn't thought about. One item that came up was doing a traffic study to see how our traffic patterns in town would be affected by parents dropping off in 2 different schools, something we hadn't thought about. I think it's a great idea. So, again, we took a lot of what we heard to heart. Having the forum wasn't just a formality. We really wanted to hear what folks had to say. And as I said, Mr. Luce, having thought about some of the things that were brought up, I thought there were some really great ideas and some valid concerns. And I think that do our due diligence to get that information out there. It's our job as administrators to do that. So that you can make a more informed decision, and our families can feel like it's been properly vetted to its maximum.
Well, I thank you for that. I wasn't able to attend the whole forum, so I know that there were other comments that were made there, and I do want to just say that I think that the evidence that you brought forward so far supports the expressed intent that we believe that this will improve the academic achievement and the educational experience of the children in town. I was speaking with a parent, a concerned parent, earlier today, and we sort of drew the distinction between someone who's 6 right now and someone who's 2, and that if you had 3 or 4 years to sort of gear yourself up for what was coming, you look at this differently than if you're midstream and experiencing the change. And I think that that's also something that I heard coming through in the discussion, and I think it makes the decision really difficult. But I think we have to balance the present impact of any change. The seniors this year are going to switch from one building to another. I think we know that will be in some ways more difficult than to stay in one building for the whole year. But we believe that there's a net benefit to making that change. So the change will be difficult, but there's going to be a net benefit, and I think it's really important for you to continue to make the case. But I think being clear about the time frame and how that impacts people is an important part of the discussion. So I thank you for your effort and look forward to hearing more of what you discover.
And we heard that loud and clear at both the faculty and parent forum, and we wanted to be respectful of those concerns and not feel like we were pushing this or trying to push this through quickly, because that's not. We want to do this in a planful way. If the school committee decides to approve our proposal, and again get all the issues out on the table that folks might have, and we can spend more time looking at this. Absolutely. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I understand when I came in this evening that there were possibly some people with us tonight that would now like to speak to this issue as part of the public speak. So if that is the case, please come to the podium and give us your name and speak to us. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Tamara Smith. I'm a sociologist, so my main concern is any existing structural inequality in the town based on having kids going to the different schools. And that includes the demographics of the student population, that includes the rates of available exercise at both schools. All of that data I would love to see more on. I think it was a wise decision to hold back on a year simply because I do think it had the ability to really fracture the town, and I would have hated to see that. But I would really like to go on record that I appreciate both principals really taking a look outside the box to see some different solutions. I appreciate it, and my kids appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to just ask, there were some parents who are always surprised that these meetings are coming, and I know that there's a disconnect between looking on the school webpage versus looking on the city webpage. And a parent asked me if it would be possible to put the school committee notices on the main calendar at the beginning of the year for the schools, so that parents automatically know the dates of the school committee. Just because I know a lot more parents want to get involved, but they're not quite sure how to get involved. So I think having more securely them knowing that these are public meetings, and that having enough time in advance to prepare for them. I would really love to see dialogue with the whole community. So,
All right.
Thanks.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Well, I want to say that as chair of the committee, I did receive letters and emails forwarded to me from various and sundry places, families, and I appreciate the thoughtful parents that we have in our community, and it is an honor for me to be a part of a school system that has a parent community that cares so much about their children's education. It really is very gratifying for me to be a part of this school committee. But I think I see a little someone else up there at the podium, do I not?
Yeah, we
Hi.
have something. We wanted to say why we don't want the schools to change.
All righty, you don't have to stand right behind that podium if you don't want to, because we can't see you very well. Can you? You can step out. That's good. Tell us your name.
My name is Summer and I'm in 3rd grade.
3rd grade. Serena?
No, I'm Summer.
Summer. I'm sorry.
And
And
I have my friend Ava with me.
Abel?
Ava.
Ava. All right.
What? I don't want the schools to change because when I was in kindergarten, I used to come out to my mom and say I can't wait for reading buddies. Now I wanted to be the one to have them say that to their parents, but if this happens, I can't. I also don't want this to happen because me and my friends will be split apart. Another reason I don't want this to happen is because we may not have a play in 4th grade, or it might just be really different, and I've really been looking forward to it. We also won't be able to do 4th grade graduation on top of Mount Tom. Also, my mom and other parents are going to have a problem with dropping their kids off, because if one kid is in 1st grade to preschool to 1st grade and one is in 2nd grade to 4th grade, they're probably going to always drop off the littlest one first and the older one second, and pick up the littlest one first and the oldest one second. So how do you think the oldest one is going to feel? Because I think they're going to feel left out and maybe unloved, and I am going to be one of those older kids. So that is why I don't want the schools to change.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then mine says, I don't want the schools to change because I've been in Maple since preschool. All those years I've loved Maple and I'd enjoy another year. If this does happen, then I won't be able to have a reading buddy, and I have been waiting to help little kids read. And also, if this happens, me and my friends would not be able to do the school play. I loved having reading buddies and when I was in kindergarten, and I loved laughing, reading, and even telling jokes with my reading buddy. Now I would like to be that buddy, because it would not be fair for next year's kindergarten to not be able to have a reading buddy. It's a great opportunity. Reading buddies help with your grades.
Right.
And I've been waiting to do that school play. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting since preschool to do that school play. Every play I watched, I was like, they're amazing. I can't wait to do that. My brother was in the play. He loved it, and I will too. If this doesn't happen, I am a great actor and love to act, and I will have a chance to act. If this does happen, then I won't be able to see Mrs. P anymore, and I wouldn't have drawn any of my great drawings if I didn't have Mrs. P. So basically, if I didn't have Mrs. P, I wouldn't be able to draw as good. So that's why I don't want the schools to change.
Well, thank you both. And I just have to say one thing. With advocates like you two, I am only so thankful we are not voting tonight. Thank you so much. That was very well done. I dare anyone to follow me. No, I'm kidding on that one. Is there anyone else that would like to come to the podium?
I actually was not going to speak at all tonight, but they're so inspiring.
They are, aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah. So my name is Michelle Gagan. I have 2 children, one of which is my daughter, who's dancing around back there somewhere, in 2nd grade at Maple. And I just first want to say thank you so much to Mr. Luce and Mr. Orlando for really hearing the parents at the forum. There was so much passion in the room, and I just feel so grateful to have been a part of that, and then to see our young people step up and be confident and know what they want to say, and for you to hear them. And I just think that is so wonderful. One request I think that I would have is to see some sort of outline between tonight and the spring of 2014 as to how the school administrators and the school committee plan to involve parents. As Tamara was saying, a lot of the parents, including myself, I didn't realize, and this is probably my own negligence, did not realize that these meetings are open to the public. And I think there's a lot of disconnect between what you guys do here on the 2nd floor of 50 Payson and what we do in our kitchens at home and what we do in the classrooms. And I think that disconnect needs to really be brought together, because there are so many talented people. And there were people in the room at the forum of, there's sociologists and caretakers and people that can really give so much, and they want to give so much. We just don't know how. So I would really like to see more from the school administrators about how we're going to resolve this, how we are going to move forward, rather than being told this is coming next, involving us to say, what do you think we should do next? And I just really want to be involved in that process, and I think a lot of our parents do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Well, thank all of you, and thank you for those who are not here tonight. I know that some have mailed letters and have spoken to different members, and I think that it's a perfect example of how we do work as a community, and that I hope that we will continue to do so, and even more so. So thank you.
Nancy?
Yes.
I know that the question of the calendar being posted, it now is posted on the website, so that piece of the information that was requested tonight is available and will be on an ongoing basis in a way that's much easier to find than perhaps it was previously. And I also I was really impressed with the energy in the room at the forums, and echo your comments, and I urge those parents to stay involved even as the issue of the elementary school reorganization gets resolved one way or the other. There's a lot of other issues where that level of passion and commitment would be, it would be great. We have an election coming up this fall for every seat on the school committee. And that's one of the ways that any parent who's interested in participating in the life of the East Hampton Public Schools can get involved, is by running for office, as well as lots of other volunteer ways, school councils, and other avenues. So anything we can do to get around the perception, and perception's reality for folks. And if there's a perception that there's a disconnect, then we simply need to find more and more ways, and say again and again and again, all the opportunities that the principals provide for parents to be involved, and the existence of bodies like this where parents can be involved. So please, ask for more information. We'll try to provide more information, and keep sharing your ideas.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Anyone else? Then, thank you, Nancy. That's all right. Yeah, thank you. Let's go to matters for action. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of the February 12th budget work session?
Before we do that,
Yes.
I would just like to see something clarified in the minutes. Or I just
Which
was
you're now
looking-
talking about the one, the budget work
Budget
session?
work session?
Yes. What would you? Is there
there's-
you want something changed, or?
Modified a little bit?
Well, okay, then you have to make a motion to change the.
Okay, then, so do you want me to make the motion first or tell you what it is that?
Go ahead and make the motion, and then we'll know.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we amend the minutes from the budget work session on February 12th, 2013.
Okay.
The reference specifically to my request to look into, it says here eliminating gym for students, and that's not what I intended. What I was suggesting was that we look into whether or not student athletes, students who are on a varsity or junior varsity team, or do some other sort of extensive outside physical activity, should possibly be excused from the requirement of physical education at the high school.
All right. Deb, could you word that the way you would like the amendment to be worded?
Would be changing, eliminating to requiring, serve your purposes?
Oh, yeah, that might work.
Why don't you make that motion?
Okay. Okay. So my requested change is that the wording would be,
Hold on. If she's going to make the motion, you just need to correct it on the actual minutes. Go ahead.
okay, that the change would be that I was requesting the superintendent research and report back to the committee facts on requiring gym for student athletes,
All right.
and what the savings would be and other reasons it could or could not be done.
All right, let me just read that back, Debbie. Deb, you would like to amend the minutes from February 12th. You have made a motion to amend the minutes on February 12th to read, Ms. Lucia requested the superintendent research and report back to the committee facts on requiring gym for
Student athletes.
for student athletes. Is there a second to that amendment? There's a second? All those in favor of the
Can we,
amendment?
wait, can I?
Discussion?
Discussion on the
Yeah,
amendment?
I just think that, Deb, you're going to want a little bit more than, because what you're saying is what the savings would be if that requirement was eliminated, right?
Right.
Right, if we just change the word, and I agree with the suggestion that it starts with changing the word, then there is also, after the comma, when it says what the savings would be and other reasons it could or could not be done, that's, since the current policy is that they are required,
Right.
the implication of everything after the is about making a change.
Correct.
So I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase that, because I'm in support of the request that you have made of the superintendent, and agree with you that the way it's stated here is different than how I remember it as well. Do people understand what I'm saying about if we change the word from eliminating to requiring gym? We currently do require gym for all students. So then when you say what the savings would be, it isn't what the savings would be for continuing to require it. It would be what the savings might be for no longer requiring it.
Correct.
And other reasons that that change could or could not be made. Sorry.
Debbie, do you give permission to Peter to
Yes.
reword your amendment? Could you
Yes.
make that clear for us, Peter? So that
Sure,
we will get
I'm
it
just
on here?
thinking that, take the first change being, okay, that report back to the committee the facts on,
Not
on not requiring gym for students. For student athletes, right,
At the high school.
at the high school, and then the comma, and what the savings, would be from such a change and other reasons that it could or could not be done. Is that still too fast?
Yeah. Okay, so,
I think I got it. Let me read it, LaDonna.
okay.
Check me on this. Ms. Luznia requested the superintendent research and report back to the committee facts on not requiring gym for student athletes, student athletes at the high school, what the savings would be to the change, and other reasons it could or could not be done. Is there a second to that amendment?
Second.
All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
All right.
Now I need a motion, I'll get this to you, yeah. Now I need a motion to accept the minutes of February 12th as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of accepting the February 12th committee meeting minutes as amended, say aye.
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 Okay. The next is the February 12th, 2013 regular session.
I know I'm so sorry, Nancy. Can I ask us to pause for just a moment? I was smiling at the lone member of the community who stayed. We just talked about something important, and I appreciate the folks who arrive and say there's a disconnect, and I'm gonna get in trouble because you're never supposed to chide people in public, but hello, we're talking about something here, and you've all left. So if you wanna stay connected, stay in the room. Right? And I'm sure, I know, parents of young children, you got a lot of places to go, and clearly the elementary school reorganization plan was the thing. But we can't, I think, succeed as much if we're just a one issue at a time kind of community. The way we are going to continue to make the progress that we're making is by having people, hearing out all the matters that are being discussed. Part of the tough part about staying connected is you have to be patient and work your way through some of the sort of nuts and bolts kind of nitty-gritty things that aren't so sexy and so appealing and may not matter so much, but you got to come and pay attention to those too. So with all due respect to the wonderful parents who just departed, stay in the room or go home and watch it on TV.
Okay, thank you.
Move to accept the February 12th regular session minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Accepted as written. I believe we have one more set of minutes. It's the February 26th Superintendent Evaluation Work Session minutes.
So, move to approve the February 26th Superintendent Evaluation Work Session minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The minutes have been,
Abstain.
oh, one abstention, sorry, I forgot to ask that. The minutes have been accepted as written. All right. LaDonna,
Yes.
payroll,
Yes.
we're paying this month?
We are paying this month. And just so everybody is aware, this payroll authorization and accounts payable authorization have been reviewed by a finance subcommittee member. So, move to approve the school payroll dated February 21st, 2013 in the amount of $449,630.88.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the school payroll dated February 21st, 2013 in the amount of $449,630.88. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to approve the accounts payable authorization for payment dated February 28, 2013 in the amount of $249,183.79.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the accounts payable authorization for payment dated February the 28th, 2013, in the amount of $249,183.79. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this next payroll and AP authorization have also been reviewed by a finance subcommittee member. Move to approve the school payroll dated March 7th, 2013 in the amount of $446,533.74.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the school payroll dated March 7th, 2013 in the amount of $446,533.74. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to approve the accounts payable authorization for payment dated March 7, 2013 in the amount of $179,653.10.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the accounts payable authorization for payment dated March 7th, 2013 in the amount of $179,653.10. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The payroll will be paid.
Yes, it will be.
All right, our next issue for action is the 2013-2014 school calendar draft, number 5.
Takes a lot of work to get this calendar right.
Do we have any questions?
What is TPS standing for?
Teachers, paraprofessionals, and students. And PD is professional development.
I have a question.
Yes, Debbie.
I hear often from parents how they just wish, in general, we could have less half-days and more, I guess, combine things so there wouldn't be so many half-days, because it's challenging for parents with work schedules and all, with a lot of half-days. And I realize there's a lot of issues with that with regard to half-days counting towards school days, and full days obviously don't, and I'm sure that's very complicated, but I just wondered, I just wanted to bring that up and mention it, and just throw it out there for feedback or input as to why we go the route so often of half-days for professional development days, and if there were any ways to do that a little differently. I just toss that out for consideration.
Do you want me to respond at all?
Sure.
It is really a factor of getting the required number of school days into the calendar and not running too late into the year, because contractually we can't go beyond June 30th for school days. And so this is a way that we can allow time for professional development and for parent conferences and still meet our requirements for school days and not go too far into June.
Are we really, but are we sort of saying that we accomplish the same thing in a different way? I mean, we could do it with the professional development piece could be done by doing it in a full day. But the benefit of doing it over 2 half days is we do just as much professional development time, but we gain credit for 2 days
Exactly.
of
Student days, two
Of
student
school.
days.
So it's an
You
accounting.
gain one. It's an accounting.
It's an accounting challenge that's imposed upon you, it's not driven by the concern that the parents are raising or necessarily how you would prefer to design professional days.
Exactly.
What is our duty on this draft? Is this ready for acceptance?
Yes, we would
This
like
is
your
the final
approval.
draft.
It is the
Okay,
final draft.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
We hope, unless we have one of those horrific snowstorms like we had in October of that year.
No, we're not going to have that, Nancy.
This will be the
Coming in
final.
November this year.
Are there any other questions then for the draft number 5? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve draft number 5 for the 2013-2014 school year.
Second.
Any further discussion on it? I guess not. Yes, Stephen?
As someone who struggles reading calendars, and we do the same thing. If there, and I don't think there's, as I read through this, there are no really major changes other than those that are driven by the way the calendar falls. But if there ever were, just to have sort of that executive, these are the 3 reasons that we're making these 3 changes. In the absence of that, I'm right in having read it that it's really the only thing that's different is because the calendar's
The
different.
dates, that's
The dates
correct.
are different.
And
Thank
we
you.
have to also work around MCAS testing. So, you know, when we plan our professional development, when we plan our parent conferences, we have to take that into account, and we didn't get those dates until just recently.
Right.
That's one of the reasons we had to redraft after we got the dates for the testing.
All those in favor of accepting the proposed calendar for 2013-2014, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The calendar is. I believe we have one other issue before us, and that is 2 out-of-state trip requests.
I want to approve the school out-of-state field trip for White Brook Middle School to the Connecticut Science Center on Tuesday, May 28th.
Second.
All those in favor of this approval of White Brook school trip, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oops, I don't have my second school trip.
I'll read it.
It's the, oh, go ahead.
It's,
Sorry.
Motion to approve the May 21st out-of-state field trip for East Hampton High School, Miss Davis's Hartford stage trip.
Shakespeare.
12th night.
Second?
Second.
Second?
All those in favor of Shakespeare?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 All right. Then,
Motion to adjourn.
I believe we entertained that motion. Peter, what was it again? Say it louder.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Did I miss it? Sorry.
Then I believe we are adjourned.
All right.
Record-breaking time, I might
Okay.
add. Yes.
So here, I apologize. Even though, Sue, even though this letter